We need to start somewhere, so we might as well start with the rear wheel. That's what's happening on this episode of Featherstone Bicycles. First thing we're going to do is take off this little bit of hardware in order to get our freewheel removal tool into place. This is the spacer that allows for the difference in the room of the freewheel. Here's our freewheel removal tool for this particular model of freewheel. Fits in down in those splines. I've talked about this before, but for the benefit of those who may be here for the first time, the way this works is that obviously you can't, it's the drive side, so it's righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, but you can't do that because of the freewheel action. So you need this tool to go down inside, fit inside those splines, and then turn on this nut. Now you could do that with a wrench, which of course it would go this way. But if you're holding it in the vise, this is going to be stationary, so the wheel would go to the right. And that would be the same effect as actually turning this nut to the left. However, it's going to be upside down because we're going to put this in the vise, so you will turn the wheel to the left, or counterclockwise. So we're going to put this in the vise. We're going to put this down, fit into the splines, and then turn it to the left. There it goes. And off comes the freewheel. So we're now able to remove the spoke guard. Very rusty, a little beat up, but hopefully that'll shine up nicely. And the next step will be to take the tire off. And one of the reasons I wanted to start with one of the wheels was because the 27-inch, 1.25-inch gum walls happen to be on sale right now. That air is all gone out of there. And I would like to take advantage of that sale. I still cannot believe how, I don't know what this gum wall material was or what happened here, but this, it's almost like curdling or bumpy and really weird. Never seen that before. And what I should have said was that I wanted to confirm that it is 27 by 1.25. And that's what it is. These are old school Schwinn approved inner tubes. I'll save that and test that in case I ever need one in an emergency. Where I get the tires from, the new tires, they come in a set of 2 tires, 2 inner tubes, 2 rim strips. won't be reusing this again, but may need it sometime in the future. The next step will be to loosen up all the spoke nipples, take the spokes out, and go on from there. Should have mentioned that we did note the wheel was a 3-cross. That is, the spokes, each spoke crosses another spoke 3 times, as opposed to a 4-cross or a 2-cross or 1-cross. But most of these old Schwinn's were either 3-cross or 4-cross. In my experience, they're mostly 3-cross. So we're going to take the axle out of the hub the rest of the way. Note these pieces as they come off. We've got our cone wrenches here. That side's really grody, so we're gonna probably have to put that on the vise. Get our 15 on the cone and our 16 on the lock nut. Millimeter, that is. There's our lock washer, which is stuck. We're going to have to put that on the vise maybe as well. Let's clean up the flats on this cone. This lock washer's coming off. I have here a Park Tool implement that fits in the vise, has threads on it, and allows you to clamp down the axle without damaging the threads. So 15. That'll be a way to do it now. Now that lock washer comes off. And I'll stick it in the other way because this way is going to be faster since it has less distance to travel. I'm going to take our axle out of the hub. Some ball bearings come with it. Looks like we have, yeah, we can just push all those down. So we've got 5, 8, 11, 15, 16, 17, there's 1, 18. So that's 9 on each side. There's our I'm just going to leave like that, and take a picture. We're going to put everything in this bowl because I still do not have a parts washer. It's definitely in my future. I just don't know when. And we're going to put some solvent in there. The bowl is not big enough for this. That's okay, that's not that greasy. And now we'll get on to cleaning the wheel, the spokes, and the nipples. Longtime viewers will know what happens next. I just have hot water in here. Sometimes I have soap, degreaser, whatever. Just hot water would be fine, even just water. And the only reason I have the water is that I've got the wire wheel on the cordless drill, and it just helps to keep the the rust dust down from flying all over the place. So we just dip that in there and start. It never gets old how well this method works on these old rims. I can't believe how rusty that rim was, and it practically looks brand new. So one other thing I like to do as a finishing touch on these, especially when the tires were in such bad shape. And also using the wire wheel on the inside. These are little weep holes, and sometimes they get plugged up either from that gummy part of that gum wall or the tire, or the process of using the wire wheel on it. So I'm just sticking a little pick in there to open those holes up. Always a very tedious job, but oddly therapeutic. The next thing we're going to do is clean up our spoke guard. Use this piece of steel wool. These usually come out pretty shiny because they're very chromed up. This one is so rusty, I think I'm actually gonna save my wrist and use the wire wheel on it. Freewheel, which is very, very greasy. I've got the Park Tool Gear Clean GSC1. It's got a little arc here with teeth to get in between and loosen things up. It's got the thin brush, and we'll see how we do here. Again, these do come apart, but my experience has been that it's more worry than it's worth. You can, as long as they're moving freely, which this one is moving very nicely, this method will get them cleaned up. So I get some solvent down in there first, and then I use the teeth. I use the solvent, get the solvent down in there with the brush, then I use the teeth on the other part of the tool to loosen things up. One thing I'm going to do that I just realized I should have done earlier at the beginning of this project is, although I'm not going to take it apart, there's this lock ring on the back that you can use I forget what the tool is called, but it's like a hook. It looks like this, and it's got a little hook on the end, and you can use that to turn this, but it's on there so tight, I'm not sure you'd be able to do that. You'd probably have to have a chain whip on here as well to keep it in place. I have a chain whip, but I don't have that other tool. There is a split ring here, which now that I've gotten this a little bit cleaner, I can see. I'm going to take that out. And that would allow me to get this part off. And then there may be a spacer or something. Yep. There's a spacer here. So that allows us to get, at least in this first section, a little bit easier. When you get this all the way clean, you can actually see and read down in here, in this area. It'll tell you what brand it is, what model it is. Schwinn approved, of course. It says Japan, but it doesn't say Shimano, but it says it's a Model J. Time for a new piece of cardboard. Okay, so put this back together. Came out very clean. Let's see that. Just to finish up this part, we had some phone storage problems, so might have been a little jumpy getting to this point. But anyway, we got that spacer on, we got this cover plate on, and now we're going to put this snap ring in. There we go. Also, I'm going to clean the ball bearings up after they've been soaking. hit these up on the wire wheel. Well, we got all the parts for the rear wheel cleaned. Unfortunately, I couldn't record it all. More phone storage issues. The next thing on the list after the parts cleaner is a GoPro. So thanks for sticking with me on this episode, and I hope to see you next week on Featherstone Bicycles.